Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's write some more Leetcode today. Today we are solving valid Sudoku. So the problem states that we are given a 9x9 Sudoku board and we want to determine if it is valid. So the board is considered valid if these three conditions are met. The first one is that each row must contain the digits 9 to 1 without repetition. The second one is that each column must contain the digits 1 to 9 without repetition. The last condition is that each of the 9 3x3 sub-boxes of the grid must contain the digits 1 to 9 without repetition. So for example, this is a 3x3 sub-box, this is a 3x3 sub-box, and this is a 3x3 sub-box. So, how can we solve this problem? So we can solve this by setting up three default dictionaries, one for rows, one for columns, and one for squares. And the values of these default dictionaries will all just be sets. So as we can see for this example right here, row 0 has values 5, 3, and 7, so they're in row 0. Row 1 has 1, 6, 5, 9, 1, 6, 5, 9, and all the way down to row 8. And for column 0, it has 4, 8, 6, 7, 5, so 4, 8, 6, 7, 5. Column 1 has 6, 3, 9, 6, 3, 9, and it goes all the way to the 8th column. And then for squares, in square 0, 0, we have 5, 9, 8, 6, 3, 5, 9, 8, 6, 3 over here. And over here in row 0 and column 1, we have 7, 1, 5, 9, 7, 1, 5, 9, and it goes all the way to row 2 and column 1. And as we are looping through these values, as soon as we see a duplicate in the board, then we just return false. But for the sake of time, I'll just say in advance that this example does not have any duplicates, but you can try to solve it in your own time. So the time complexity of this problem would technically be O of 1 because the board will always be 9x9, so we will always just go through 81 elements. And the space complexity would also be technically O of 1 as well because this is about the size of what the default dictionary will always be like. So both the time and space are constant, even though it might be easy to think that the time is n squared and the space could be O of n. So now let's get to the coding part. So first, I'm going to make the default dictionary for rows, and I'm just going to call it rows. Then I'm going to make a dictionary for columns, and then I'll call it columns. And then I'm going to make the dictionary for the sub-boxes, and I'll call it squares. So default dict set. And now we're going to loop through the board. So for R in range 9, R is for rows, and for C in range 9, C is for column. So we'll go through all the rows and columns. And then if the board value is equal a period, then we just continue because there's no value there. So we could just skip through it. So that, and we just continue. Otherwise, if board is already found in a previous row, if the value, so board RC is in previous row, RC, board R, sorry, just R. And then if board RC is found in columns of columns of C, then we can also return false. And there's also one more condition. If the board of R and C is in the squares, but squares, the reason how we're going to index it would be row divided by 3 and column divided by 3, and we will floor it. So floor the division. And if all these are if any of these three conditions are satisfied, then we can return false. Okay, so and then now we're just going to add the values. So if columns, we'll add the column. Board RC, and then rows of R, we will add the value. So rows of R dot add board RC, and then squares, and then the index would be R floor division by 3 and C floor division by 3, and then also add board of R and C. Yep. And if we have not returned false by then we can return true because it means we have gone through the whole board. Let's see if it works. Okay, perfect. Quick side note, you can also use bit masking to solve this problem, and I think it will save the space a little bit, but I don't think it really matters since both solutions will both be constant space. And the reason I didn't really go over this problem is I don't think bit masking is too popular or common in Leetcode, so I think the previous approach was more popular. So yeah, but let's see if it works. Yeah, so this way will work too, and thank you all for watching. I hope this was helpful, and if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below, and I hope to see you all again soon.